When humans say, "Hold my beer," the galaxy now automatically raises threat level to maximum. The phrase entered the galactic database on a Tuesday, not through a formal linguistic submission, not through diplomatic channels or cultural exchange protocols. It was flagged, automatically, by the Concord Threat Analysis Network after an incident aboard Station Kelvari 9 that defied every predictive model the system had ever run. Analyst Yevren Sol was the first to review the footage. He watched it 4 times. Then he called his supervisor. "Ma'am," he said carefully, "I need you to see this." Commander Thessia Vaughn, a decorated Veranthi intelligence officer with 30 years of threat assessment experience, sat down beside him and pressed play. The footage showed the station's exterior maintenance bay. A coolant array on the station's thermal spine had failed, catastrophically. Temperatures in the surrounding sectors were climbing toward critical. The repair required a precision spacewalk through a corridor of venting superheated gas that no standard EVA suit could withstand for more than 40 seconds. The engineering team, a mixed-species crew of Selvari, Tessari, and humans, had gathered to assess options. The Selvari chief engineer was mid-sentence, explaining why the repair window was physically impossible, when a human technician named Jake Moreno set his drink on the nearest console. "Hold my beer," he said, and then he walked toward the airlock. Thessia leaned forward. "What is he doing?" "Watch," Yevren said. Jake had modified his EVA suit in ways that voided approximately 19 safety certifications. He'd rerouted the thermal shielding from his legs to his torso and arms, leaving his lower half protected by nothing more than standard insulation. And, according to the post-incident report, sheer audacity. He entered the gas corridor. The Selvari engineer was shouting over comms. "Moreno, your suit isn't rated for this. You have less than a minute before—" "Then I'll be quick," Jake said. He wasn't quick. He was impossibly, unreasonably quick. He navigated the corridor in 22 seconds, reached the coolant array, performed a repair that should have required 3 technicians and a robotic assist arm, using a wrench, a length of emergency sealant tape, and what the official report later described as an unorthodox percussive technique. He hit it. He hit the coolant array with his wrench, hard, at a precise angle that somehow reseated a component that had been thermally warped beyond specification. It worked. The coolant array re-engaged. Temperatures across 4 sectors began dropping immediately. Jake floated back through the corridor, re-entered the airlock, removed his helmet, and picked up his drink. "Still cold," he said. Thessia stared at the screen. Her violet skin had paled, a Veranthi stress response she hadn't experienced in decades. "This is one incident," she said. Yevren pulled up a second file, then a third, then 30 more. A human navigator aboard a cargo freighter who bypassed a nav computer failure by calculating a gravitational slingshot trajectory in her head after saying, "Hold my beer," to her co-pilot. A human structural engineer on a colony world who reinforced a collapsing habitat dome using nothing but cargo straps and furniture, after saying, "Hold my beer," to the evacuation coordinator. A human xenobiologist who successfully communicated with a previously uncontactable silicon-based lifeform by singing to it, after saying, "Hold my beer," to the entire first contact team. Every incident followed the same pattern. The phrase was spoken, all rational planning ceased, and then the human accomplished something that, by every known metric, should not have been possible. "It's not a battle cry," Yevren said. "It's not a prayer or an invocation. Linguistically, it's a simple request. They're asking someone to hold their beverage." "Then what is it functionally?" Thessia asked. Yevren hesitated. "Near as I can tell, it's an activation phrase. When a human says it, they're announcing that they've abandoned conventional problem-solving and are about to attempt something that operates entirely outside established parameters. That sounds like recklessness. It would be, for any other species." He pulled up the success rate. Humans who say this phrase before acting have a positive outcome rate of 94.7%. Thessia sat very still. 94.7, yes, ma'am. She stood slowly. "Draft a protocol amendment, effective immediately." "What classification?" "Whenever the Concord Threat Analysis Network detects a human uttering the phrase, 'Hold my beer,' in any language, any dialect, any translation, the system will automatically elevate the galactic threat level to maximum." Yevren blinked all 4 eyes. "Ma'am, Threat level maximum is reserved for extinction-class events. I'm aware, but they're not threatening anyone. They're usually helping. Thessia looked at him, a long, measured look that carried the weight of 30 years spent cataloging the behaviors of 1,000 species. Analyst soul, she said quietly. A species that regularly achieves the impossible on instinct, while casually holding a beverage, is the most unpredictable force in this galaxy. We're not raising the threat level because they're dangerous. She walked toward the door. We're raising it because when a human sets down their drink, the universe is about to be rearranged. And I want every station, every fleet, and every outpost to be paying attention when it happens. The protocol was ratified unanimously. 3 days later, aboard a deep space research vessel studying an unstable wormhole, a human astrophysicist named Dr. Amara Osei turned to her Tessari colleague, set her coffee on the console, and said, "Hold my coffee. Close enough. I have an idea." 14 star systems away, every alarm in the conquered network activated simultaneously. The Tessari colleague looked at the blinking alerts, then at Amara, who was already scribbling equations in the air with her finger. "Should I be worried?" the Tessari asked. Amara grinned. "Only if you're the wormhole."